Initialize dampeners. Cut into feed. Begin transmission.
This program is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised.
What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy. So let's do this!
What's going on? That's quite the intro.
Hey, I worked it up a little bit. Added the Black Star intro to today because we're talking custom figures.
I like it.
Yeah. And hello, everyone. I'm Bill. And this is Joneser.
What's up, everybody? Joneser, your favorite comic book guy.
Absolutely. And you're watching Late Night on Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And we're ready to get the show started. Bjorn has joined us as well because Bjorn is into customs. I don't know if Bjorn's going to put himself on the screen or not, but let's get him on in here and see if he can say hello to everyone at least. Hey Bjorn, how's it going, bud? Are you
good? Just got off work earlier.
Oh yeah, well I know you've been working hard, man, and I know you haven't been able to catch all the shows like you used to. But hey, when you work, that's what happens to you.
Well, normally your Saturday late night shows I skip because I'm tired after work.
Yeah, I understand.
But I lurk every now and then.
I like it when you lurk. Excuse me. Let's say hello to the folks who've showed up today. Johnny Sorensen's here. Pop Actor Rick says he's going to be here. I don't know if he's here yet or not. And of course, you're there, Schmeblock. George Valentine has joined us, and so has Sue Studio. Johnny Sorensen is in the house, and so is Radical Mom. The Epic Badger is here. See what Epic Badger's saying here real quick. He says Black Star is like Turlock in space, but much more mild. Okay. And Daniel Carhoonan has joined us today. Hello, Daniel. Good to see you. He says hi to Bill and Joneser. And the Motu Joneser is down there in the chat tonight, too. He says hello to everyone. And
here.
Pop Actor Rick says, I told him to be here. I guess you told yourself. Is that what you're saying? OBS. Hey. Good to see OBS, and she's got lots of love for us. Good to see you. All right, folks. So, Bjorn, what you got going on, man? Because I got you in here, and I know it's kind of late for you, and you might need to get some rest. So, go ahead and tell us what you got going on there at the Majestic Place. If he's with us.
I'll show you what I got. I was muted.
Oh, okay.
I was just going to show you guys what I got real quick, then pop out. Probably go to bed after this.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you the screen and let you tell us what you got there, bub.
Yeah, I've just been mainly working on these 118 scale customs, like thugs for like some type of gang, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Just mostly simple part swaps.
Right. They look
No
pretty
real
cool.
painting involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done all these within like the past couple days. So
Okay. That looks pretty
that's
cool.
pretty
There,
much,
Bjorn.
that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. I
Is
thought I'd
that
give you.
one of those like butt face dudes on Star Wars there?
The
Walrus Man.
yeah,
right?
the Oculus guy,
Yeah, I always
Mr.
call him
Walrus
the
Man.
butt face guy, yeah. He doesn't
I
like
always
you.
called the Biff musicians, like the Cantina band. Those were the butt face guys to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
They had them big old heads, didn't they?
That was the blowhole
Somebody
so they
turn
could
it.
play the little song.
Yeah. All right. Well, is that all you got for us tonight, Bjorn?
I do have a couple more. I just have to get them.
All right. Well, you take your time. And Pop Actor Rick says, "Oh, he's asking OBS. She probably didn't. I'm not answering for her by any means, but says, did you see on Big Bad Toy Store Count Chocula, Boo Berry, and Frankenberry? Well, the Count Chocula and Frankenberry have been there for a while, I believe, but Boo Berry is new. And I'm going to tell you, Joneser, I saw those. And you know that picture that you put up? I think it was you that put it up of Indiana Jones going for the idol.
Yeah.
So that was me looking at those figures, knowing damn well I have no business getting them. I have not ordered them. They're not going on my pile of loot or anything like that. But damn, it's real hard not to order those little figures because they look cool as hell.
Right.
Sir Clifton has joined us. He says, "Hello, everyone. I just want to pop in and say, hey, worked really early. Work started early for me past couple of days, and he's really whooped. Yeah, he's a mailman now. So getting out there and delivering the mail, you have to get up awful early in the morning."
Nah, I can relate. I think I'm still working dirt out of my eyes from work.
Oh, yeah, well, dude, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've been on the go for a while. Oh, let's see what Bjorn's got down here. Now you're muted, Bjorn. Unmute yourself so we can hear you, bub.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
We
sir.
got you.
All right. More Star Wars.
That's
looking
the butt face guy there.
There
yeah, I
we
can
go.
see the.
I don't know
butt.
how well you can see that.
I
Yeah,
got
he's
hole
got
and
a crack
everything.
he's got a crack up there that looks like a butt crack. I can see it.
Yeah, but these are other ones I've done, just finally completed. This guy
Okay.
here is probably going to change,
Mm-hmm.
but I just hate the waste parts, so I just swapped the heads from this guy
Got you.
on him.
Okay.
And then
So
there's these two
just got
random ones.
got lots of alien thugs there, basically. Little gang.
Yep. He could require some paint on the neck, as you could see.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, yeah,
Pretty
that's all
cool,
my
though.
customs I've done.
Pretty cool.
Eventually,
there.
I'm gonna have some sort of diorama playset, but I gotta wait on my bookshelf to come in.
All right.
I ordered it, and the postal service misplaced it.
Of course
Well,
they did.
Doesn't sound like anything unusual to me, does it, John?
No, I've just had a fun little game with them trying to collect on insurance on a damaged package that they're saying it's their fault.
No, it's not their fault. So how did it happen?
That's
Magic?
what I'm wondering. Yeah, $100 worth of insurance on the dang thing, and they won't give me $20 for it. And they sat there and they're like, "Oh, well, when it comes in on an automated system, and it goes into a tub like this. Look, if the damage didn't occur there, then." And I'm like, "Man, you can see the book. It looks like somebody frisbeed this thing across the truck." And oh, well, they don't do that. They don't frisbee them. They
they don't.
just come in on the roller here and into this tub. And I'm like, "Okay, so do you take them out of the tub and deliver them to houses?" That's probably where it got frisbeed.
All right. Well, Bjorn's going to take off. Night, Bjorn. I'm going to go ahead and take him on out of here for now, and we'll get back to our normal layout here. And
Sure.
OBS finally got that tooth out. It was a nightmare, and she's been traumatized. Well, I'll tell you what, when I got my rotted teeth out of my head, it was like a relief. I don't know if you've ever had a tooth extracted, Joneser, but
never even had a cavity, man. I've been lucky.
You're a lucky dude, man. I was like that for the longest time, up until I turned about 50.
Yeah.
And a lifetime of drinking Mountain Dew took its toll on my teeth. I don't drink that shit anymore.
I got a birthday at the end of the month. I'm creeping up on 50.
All right, let's see what Bjorn said to me real quick. If I can get it to show up. There we go. Yeah, Bjorn's out of here. He's going to say good night to everybody. So y'all keep Bjorn in your prayers and think about him occasionally, because he's busy over there at that toy store that he works at. So I'm going to tell you what. Yeah, a lifetime of drinking Mountain Dew will take its toll on your teeth. That shit rots teeth. I don't know what's in it. It's something different than any other kind of soda that there is. I think it's made out of alien doo-doo.
Slurge.
Slurm.
There we go. What was that? Is that what it was on Futurama?
Yeah, that was on Futurama. And I think it was correct. Pop Actor Rick says he's tempted to buy them. He loved Count Chocula as a kid. You know, I like Count Chocula and Frankenberry. I never got any Blueberry. It was kind of hard to get.
The Blueberry was my jam, but yeah, you could never find it.
Yeah, but the commercials were always on TV. Man, those figures look awesome. Have you seen those figures on BBTS?
I have not. I think the last time I saw Count Chocula, he was on Robot Chicken and Blade killed him.
Nice. But yeah, the figures are about, I think, maybe 1/12 scale, or they work well with 1/12 scale, and they each come with a little box of cereal, and it's the classic looking box, not anything new. Real cool. And OBS says, cool, got to set up the cantina, got the weird alien instruments for the band. She's talking to Bjorn, I guess. Bjorn has got all kinds of stuff over there, and he collects, and then he wants to customize, and so he ends up making all these extra figures with all the stuff that he's got. It's pretty cool. Marvel Grey Hulk banner. Damn, it's expensive. Hopefully the price will go down. I think Jim got one of those. Did you get one?
No, I've been staying away from Marvel stuff because I know me, and I can't collect anything else.
Teeth. There's talking teeth down there in the chat. Pop Actor Rick says, I had a decision root canal. Does he mean it was impacted or something, or ripped that off? I said ripped that off. Price too high and pain of it. No thanks. Well, that's the thing. My wife got a root canal because she wanted to save her teeth, right? I went in there and I said, yank the boogers out. I don't need them anymore. And 2 of them were wisdom teeth, so they were going to come out anyway. And the one beside it had sit beside the rotted wisdom tooth long enough to where it had done, the rot had kind of moved over into it. So I just said, get all that mess out. Moving on here. Let's see. I'm better. Still sore. 2 teeth. One was broke. He had a lot of trouble. Got stitches. Paying for it was almost as bad.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I've been lucky because all mine are kind of spaced out. So it's easy for me to get in between them and floss in between them and all that and get the brush in between them. So nothing happens.
These over here in the front, they overlap. I can't stand it, but it's been like that all my life. So I got to get used to that.
Right. And I think that's what was lucky for me is mine are just spaced out enough where it was, they haven't given me any trouble.
Gojatron says, I'm here for the John Carter, Black Star custom. Okay. What is it? I've had 2 root canals before, nightmare. Pop Actor Rick, it was like $2,000 for a root canal. I said, forget it. I don't blame you, bud. It costed damn near $1,000 for my wife to get her root canal, and that was what, probably 15 years ago. And she still has trouble with that particular tooth.
And that was with insurance?
On my part or his part?
I don't know. Either one.
No, we didn't have any insurance at the time. We had to scrape that money up. I don't know about Pop Actor Rick. I would assume the $2,000 is without insurance. I think insurance would cover a great deal of that cost, and you'd probably have to cover, what, $500 deductible or some shit.
Probably whatever the deductible is, depending on the coverage.
Yeah.
How good or bad it is.
Right. And most dental insurance is not very good. It's kind of like vision insurance. Oh, we'll buy your frames, but you have to buy the lenses. The frames don't cost nearly as much as the lenses do, you asses.
And the frames don't help you fucking see better.
No, they don't. You have to have the lenses for
Sorry
that.
for the F-bomb. Felt it was appropriate.
Yeah. Got it back in the day when I had a good time with insurance. Yeah, that's when you got them. That's when you can do all kind of root canal crap. And Pop Actor, he's in the same boat that I am. No insurance, too costly for what is worth paying. I'd rather pay cash for a cleaning or fix a tooth, or just yank the son of a gun out and be done with it. And of course, Sue Studio is showing off all of her perfect teeth there. Very good. No, we talked about insurance. Pulling isn't even covered.
Really?
What? Shit.
See, my granddad would have just put a freaking piece of line on it and tuck it to a doorknob and
the door.
How'd she go?
I shit you not, man. I had a brother. We called him Sandman. And we had another brother named Chris. And Chris was an alcoholic. And Chris didn't take very good care of himself. And Chris had been to the state penitentiary, and Chris had a lot of rotted teeth in his head, let's just say. And as they would become loose and too rotted and needed to come out, Sandman would oblige him with a pair of pliers. Oh. And we told Sandman one time that he ought to take all of Chris's teeth and put them on a necklace and wear them around his neck. The teeth that he had pulled out of Chris's head. Now, this is true, folks. I witnessed
it. Homeboy a bottle of whiskey or something.
Oh yeah, homeboy be drunk. Homeboy be drunk when Sandman was pulling those teeth. Right. I don't know if he was feeling that pain or not. Fixing tooth, a cavity, like $250. That's less than I would have paid in insurance in a year. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, the insurance is there for like the $2,000 deals, right? I have Medicare dental, and I don't want to say how much I have to pay for dental work. Eldor's in the house. Good evening there, Bill and Jungler. I wonder if they have dental plans on Eternia. Inquiring minds want to know.
Or if they just do the line in the doorknob trick.
Contact Sandman. I can get you in touch with him.
We did lyrics with a Nerf bullet, but that's a baby tooth.
Is that on YouTube? I think it is.
My first video, I think.
Yeah. Joneser has watched Sea Monkey videos, and I've watched Joneser's first video. So we get along pretty good.
Yeah, don't go down that rabbit hole, folks. These are all terrible.
Whatever. I think they have a wonderful place in our hearts.
They do. They do. It's the whole reason.
Skeletor does have a dentist. Skeletor does have a dentist, Rick. His name is Molar.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
If you go back and to the classics time when the Guru was in charge, they actually did a Skeletor and Molar figure in the classics line.
I remember.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I believe that's how Savage He-Man got the name Ular.
From Molar?
It was a play off that.
It has to be. I know that the name Ular was made up by the guru. He said,
Right.
at least that's what he says anyway.
Well, Ular and Molar were
They were brothers.
there you go.
Trapjaw didn't have dental insurance. He had something, I think Skeletor.
Yeah, freaking metal jaw. He just had a freaking metal shop guy work on his face.
Yeah. Molar. Yep. Good time to show the Cavity Creeps commercial. This has turned into the dental show.
Right.
Do have Cavity Creeps commercial. I might show that later on in the show. Yes, we have Postar, the attorney and postie or postman here. Okay. Yeah, that's I guess that's how you get your things from the Big Bad Toy Store. It's by Postar. And sometimes he takes a roundabout route, from what I understand. If you've watched the Instagram over there, sometimes.
Yeah.
Trapjaw gets his jaw broken, his arm chopped off, and burned face, and he still works for Skeletor. That's one dedicated employee. Skeletor has always been pretty much ugly to his employees, hasn't he?
You furry fool! I'll make a rug out of your hide.
I think Beastman likes that. Beastman's kind of like Gomer Pyle. You know, whenever Sergeant Carter was nice to Gomer, Gomer always wondered why Carter didn't like him anymore. We make holes in teeth. Well, we do have some figures, and one of them is a figure that I've wanted to make for quite some time. Can you guess which one that is?
I'm drawing a blank, man.
Okay. Maybe I can give you a hint. One of them is a figure that I've been wanting to make for quite some time, and one of them is a figure I never knew I wanted, but I had to get once I saw that it was available, that the kit was available. So, what was a figure that you think that I've been wanting to make for quite some time?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and think it's Arak, son of Thunder, Black Star.
Arak, son of Thunder. Black Star is Black Star by himself. So,
okay. I'm gonna be honest. All cards on the table, faced up. I know nothing about this property. I never watched this cartoon. I cannot.
Black Star.
I know nothing.
I know a slight bit about Black Star, and we kind of got an introduction to Black Star at the beginning of the show.
I did enjoy that.
It was nice, wasn't it?
It intrigued me. That's a real cartoon, right? I can watch those on YouTube or find them somewhere.
You certainly can. You can watch them all on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. It's a Filmation property. Right. Actually, it was not a property that was owned by anyone else but Filmation at the time. And it was actually, believe it or not, as you can see, it looks Motu inspired. But
right.
Guess what? It came out before Masters of the Universe.
That was going to be my next question. It was like predates He-Man.
It does predate He-Man, and I think that some of the ideas from that crept into He-Man. Although Black Star was an astronaut, went through a black hole, got marooned on this planet in another universe, and he had a bad guy, and they had two halves of the sword. Black Star had one half, the bad guy had the other, and if you put it together, it makes this power star. So Black Star had the power sword, and the bad guy, or Black Star had the star sword. The bad guy had the power sword. You put them together, and it makes the power star. And if you look at Black Star's sword, it looks like half of a long elongated star. So that's where that kind of star stuff comes from. Skeletor does treat Beastman like crap, but I think Beastman likes it. I really do. He was happy when Skeletor let him come back in the house, even though Skeletor was mean to him.
That's right. Yeah, it feels good to be home.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let me run over here to the toy cam while I still got it up.
Oh, there we go.
All right, so here I'll put my ugly mug in the shot too. So there we go.
And say, well, yourself up full here.
Huh? Oh,
put it up full so they can see the toys.
Sure.
They don't need me.
We do need you, but we'll let you.
Well, you can hear me. You don't need. I'll be there in spirit.
There you go. All right. Well, as you know, this character is Eric, Lord, Son of Thunder. Now, you may not be familiar with the character, Joneser, but you know it's a comic book character, right?
I do.
All right. And he really was a part of the Warlord's world, except when Remco produced the toys. They kind of put Hercules Unbound, which is also a DC comic property, and Eric, Son of Thunder, which was a DC comic property, together with Warlord here, and produced action figures and bad guys based upon the Warlord comic. The included comic book with the Warlord figures had a short storyline that kind of told why these two characters ended up in Skartaris. So the evil sorceress found some bones and brought them back to life, and that was Hercules. His bones were in the cave or whatever, and she brought them back to life, and that was Hercules. Eric was brought back by the bad guy, and he was found in the court of Charlemagne. I guess they called him Carolus Magnus in the comic books, which is also Charlemagne's name. Eric's backstory, do you know that, Jones? Or
I don't.
Kind of cool. His father was the Native American thunder god, and his mother was a Native American princess or Native American woman. I'm gonna say she was a princess, and an evil serpent god had lured her in and bitten her, and he saved her and brought her to his realm and fell in love with her. Although she wasn't in love with him, she did produce one child with him, which was Eric. But the thunder god, knowing that she loved him so, sent her back to her, did not love him as much as he loved her, sent her back to her native tribe. And then something happened. The bad guys came and she tried to escape in a canoe into the ocean and was found by some Vikings. And the only survivor was Eric as a child. And when he was taken in by the Vikings and became a Viking warrior, was adopted by one of the Vikings. Eventually joining the court of Charlemagne or Carolus Magnus later on in the comic. And I think he was kind of DC's answer to Conan the Barbarian. I mean, he was a Native American, but he acted more like a Viking than a Native American, since he spent most of his life as a Viking. But he also had powers to control thunder and lightning and the weather, because he was the son of the thunder god. And as a result of that, when he met the Vikings, he embraced Thor, because the Thor is just another name for that same thunder god. Kind of interesting, don't you think, there, Joneser?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
but anyway, yeah, the in the comic, this character here was brought back by the bad guy and brainwashed into battling the Warlord. But he also later regained his true thoughts and became Warlord's friend, I guess. And that was in that comic. So that's that figure there, that Eric figure. I've been wanting to do that for quite some time, but I had to wait for Lee to make the head and the kit available to me.
So these are from Lee Customs, the heads anyway.
Yes, they are. And I'll tell you what you get with the Eric kit. Okay, Eric, you get not the vest, but you do get the loincloth. Okay, and you get this head, and he includes the axe, and he includes his knife, which is back here in the bag. The vest is from Cape Master. And the original Eric figure had two combinations. He either came with a loincloth or he came with a vest. and the vest was brown. The loincloth was this color here, and I kind of combined both of those in my figure. And the recipe is, this is Jitsu's body and arm over here, and Jitsu's upper arm over here. The lower arm is a He-Man arm that I have painted to kind of match it. It don't match perfectly, but it matches kind of close enough. What do you think there, Joneser? Now, Joneser's not paying attention. Okay. Or either that or everybody hearing me correctly? See, Mattel should get into this line, says Pop Actor Rick, and Mike Fee does agree. I agree too. I used Hercules as a Rocky figure when I was a kid. Kind of cool there, Pop Actor. Anyway, you get the loincloth, the knife, and the axe, and the head with the kit, and you supply the legs and the body. Jitsu's body and Jitsu's arm and upper arm. I painted He-Man arm, and I also had to paint extra hands because Jitsu came with a gripping fist on this side, and so I wanted an open palm on this side, so I had to paint that hand, and I had to paint this gripping hand over here. The legs are He-Man legs. The torso is, or the waist there is a He-Man waist. I just painted that, and painted the boots, and that made my Eric figure. And of course, the next figure was a figure I never knew I wanted, but when I saw the kit, I had to get it, and that is Black Star. Let's see. We can hear you. Thank you. I guess Joneser took a break. He'll be back shortly.
I'm here. I had to go referee upstairs. My boys were fighting.
Oh, fighting. Oh, that's cool. Who won? Who won?
The big one.
That kind of stands to reason. Anyway, I was talking about Eric. There's a recipe involved in that. Like I said, those were He-Man legs. Had to be repainted. He-Man feet, they had to be repainted. The forearm here it was a He-Man forearm. That's Jitsu's upper arm. As you can see, I tried to match that as best I could. It doesn't really match, but I think it's close enough. What do you think, Joneser?
Looks pretty good to me.
All right. That's all I need to hear. I had to paint those hands as well. They came out a little better than that forearm. I'm not very happy about the bracers or the wrist cuffs or the gauntlets or whatever you want to call them. The paint I used on those is not the nice tester paint that I usually use. That's the cheap Dollar General paint. And I'm going to have to repaint those cuffs because I got some tester's paint on the way from Amazon. But for tonight, I wanted to have something up to show. And on the camera, it looks pretty decent. In person, it doesn't look nearly as good. But I'm going to rework those cuffs. And then here's John Blackstar here, folks. Like Joneser, I really never watched this cartoon, but good God, I am now. And I knew about the figure line. There was a figure line back in the day of Blackstar. Blackstar had a green dragon that he rode on. You could buy that mount. Each figure came with one of those little trobits, which is like a little troll hobbit or whatever. And you had the bad guy and Blackstar, his girl, lady friend. I don't know if she was a girlfriend or not. She was an alien looking. And a couple of other characters. But Lee made that head. And this kit includes the head, the necklace, and the waist. That is a custom made waist. And you get your half of that Power Star sword. I guess that's the Star Sword is his half. So and that glows in the dark. That sword will glow in the dark. So and once you pop those legs on that waist, Lee says you can't take them off again because you stand a chance of breaking the pegs. So once you snap those legs onto that torso, it's kind of a done deal. So Just remember that, folks. And I don't like the color of the boots. I think the boots should match the loincloth color. I found a guy on eBay that's got the brown boots that are that color, so I'm going to order some more boots. And that way I don't have to paint them. I don't like painting stuff if I don't have to. That I don't know if you call that laziness or what, but and yeah, I had to paint the gold cuffs there. The cuffs were He-Man cuffs, so I had to paint them gold. What do you think there, Jones? Think it look kind of
they
good?
look pretty good. They look like they're good representation of the character as he's supposed to be.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, the original Black Star figure was about He-Man size, but I think it was maybe a slight bit larger, and he didn't have that crouch to him. He had straight legs, and I don't know if they had articulation in them or not, except at the hips. I can't remember. Some of you guys may remember.
I have a couple of these Remco figures or these knockoff Masters of the Universe figures that I got. I should probably just throw these in a box and send it to you because I don't know what they are. Don't care about them. Don't have no joy for them. Don't have any love for them. They're not my jam, but I know they're kind of up your alley. So maybe 2 or 3 of them, they might have broken legs or missing parts or all kinds of stuff. But whenever I'm hunting for He-Man stuff and people don't know what He-Man is, sometimes they throw those in there.
And you know me, Joneser, if you send it to me, I'll be happy to take it, and I will tell you how much I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just might have to do that. Just throw those in a box, send them your way. I got your address somewhere.
Sounds good to me. All right, let's keep up with the chat real quick here. It's a nostalgic kind of connection with the Motu line. Some of us kids were fooled into thinking this was Motu figures. I never was fooled into thinking they were Motu figures. I knew exactly what they were, but I thought they were cool as hell on their own. And at the time, the Remco figures really did match the He-Man figures to the point to where Mattel sued the fuck out of them. But Mattel lost that one. And when they lost that one, that opened the door to Galaxy Warriors and Galaxy Fighters and all kinds of Sunco ripoffs. Right. If you look back there behind, you can see Baltard and Batoon and I think that's Iguana back there in the back. They were Galaxy Warriors, Galaxy Fighters. And then over there beside Hercules, you can see Conan. They did Conan. It was either Sunco or Remco. One of you guys in the chat can tell me. They did Conan, but it wasn't based on the movie Conan. It was based on the comic Conan. And of course, he had a lion skin harness, which costs like $100 just all by itself if you buy it on the Evil base. So I said, forget that. And I just gave him Papa Shango's necklace, which I think goes well with him. What do you think there, Jones?
It's pretty cool to me.
Yeah. And moving on down, hit that like, people, says Melville. Yes, please do. We need all the likes and subscriptions and all that stuff. We get subscriptions especially. And I did real well last week on subscriptions. Did you know that, Jones?
I seen your post where 800 some on.
Yeah, I got about 812 now, and that's moving me ever closer to 1,000 as I grind away over here. Mike Fee played with the rip-off figures with his He-Man figures. They look the same, slightly different, but they were the exact same scale. And let's see, Pop Actor says, the Sears catalog made an error and advertised it as upcoming Motu figures, and I was fooled by that catalog.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
That's funny.
That's ugly right there. That looked like a lawsuit.
Well, even the retailer didn't know the difference.
No, really. I want the Warlord custom. Where did you find him, Bill? The head, along with the little wings that go on it, comes from Lee Custom. And that's all Lee provides you with. And I don't think he's got that head available anymore. He may repop those sometime in the future. He's on Instagram. If you contact Lee Custom on Instagram, at Lee__customs, I think is what his handle is there on Instagram, you might be able to get him to pop some more Travis Morgan heads. But that's all you get, my friend, is you get that head and you get the little ears that go on it. You don't get no sword. That is I bought that from a customizer. That is a replacement sword, because the actual sword for that character costs way too much money. But the repop was reasonable, and I got that. The cape is made out of felt, and I used a black permanent marker to put the little spots on it. The body is a He-Man body. All I did was repaint the underwear. I repainted his wrist cuffs and I repainted his boots. So that's a pretty easy custom. You just pop a head off, pop a new head on, make you a cape. You can buy repro capes, but the old capes were made out of vinyl, which I didn't like too much. So I made his cape out of some white felt, and used the same pattern, or pretty much close to that pattern anyway. And the Hercules is the same way. The only thing you get with Hercules is a head, and you get that from Lee as well. The staff, that big stick that he's got in his hand, club or whatever you want to call it, that is not an original. That is a reproduction that I bought from somewhere else to go with him. The little gold string that he has tied around his body there, I bought from Walmart. So, Pop Actor Rick says he wants them too. Well, you guys get with Lee Custom. He's over there on eBay as J Buford 63 or 62 or something like that. I'll have to go look and see, but he doesn't use his name over there for a reason. I think that's his mom's account. But anyway, he sells over there, and he's got all this stuff that he's got available there. He also goes to some of the conventions, and he's here lately, and he's been setting up tables there with a lot of stuff that he doesn't have available on his eBay store. So check them out. I would like them also, says Mike B. Gojitron. Black Star figures were 6 points of articulation. Okay. Remco did the Conan. Okay. All right. So Remco did Conan as well as the Warlord and figures. Now Galoob, I think, is who did Black Star. That's why the Black Stars didn't look like the Remco figures. And of course, Sunco was the one who did the Galaxy Warriors, Galaxy Fighters, Pirates of the Galaxies, and all those other ripoffs. I got the Remco AWA ring and figures also, says Mike Fee. Okay. And Christina is here. Hey, Christina. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I might have overlooked him. If Christina's here, then that means that Radical Toys is here. So if I missed you coming in, Radical Toys.
Yeah, he was in the chat earlier.
There he is. He was up there, way back up there at the 1024 mark. Hey, Adam, if you're still here, good to see you, man. All right. So you've been doing a little customizing as well, but you've been doing that with Dick Tracy figures. Is that correct there, Joneser?
Yeah, a little bit. Not really anything I've made or built myself, just buying some coats. Got some from let me put my wonderful smiling little face back up on here. You got some coats from Cape Master, and then some from another feller whose name is escaping me, but he had a little bit more of a detailed coat than the Cape Master.
The other fellow's coats are the ones that are a little more expensive in detail.
They were twice as much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to say Cape Master was around $10.
I saw some pictures of those. Have you done any?
I've gotten some newer ones.
I'm sorry, I was over talking you.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I've gotten some newer ones. The ones that were a little more expensive, if you can see here, they got the little folds, like the collar and like where it bends, and the cuffs on there. So they're a little more detailed.
Mm-hmm.
Look like they got pockets. Whereas the ones you get from Cape Master are just plain Jane. They don't have any detail, but I like the material of the Cape Master ones better. But I like the look of these other ones. But they got that kind of fuzzy, so you got to clean the stuff off of them. And the Cape Master ones seem to be a little more forgiving as far as if you're going to put them on and take them off. Whereas the other guys, they kind of, once you got them on there, you should probably leave them on there.
They're not as durable, in other words.
They're not as easy to take on and off, but I think they're plenty durable. I like this one.
Yeah, that's real nice.
Yeah, you look kind of dumb without it. And it's like, who wears a tuxedo without the coat?
We talked about that once before. We both think that Playmates originally intended to include coats on these figures and then cheaped out and didn't.
I think they did. I think they looked at it like the Barbie, would have the little coat accessories or whatever. And I think at the 0 hour, they cheaped out. And that's probably hindsight 2020 for them business-wise for the best, because I believe the toy underperformed. And,
it did. Well, the movie underperformed, and I think that bled over into the toy line.
Well, the movie was financially successful as far as they made a profit, but the profit margins could have been better had Warren Beatty not gone crazy with his. I think they shot every shot of that movie like 3-4 times, like even the ones where you didn't need to do that. He just completely lost his mind on this thing because they were thinking they were going to get Batman numbers. And that's why people to this day say the movie did poorly. It didn't do poorly. It just didn't hit Batman numbers. And if they would have hit Batman numbers, then their profit margins, what they spent, would have made it where it was a more successful movie. The movie did turn a profit, but it's like if you're spent like they sit there and they refilm the scene where he walks out the door and walks into the car like 5 times. Like, what are you doing? There's some the cinematographer and there's some people who are interviewed working on that movie, and they say they still to this day have nightmares about it.
I can only imagine. Well, Warren Beatty is mentally ill anyway. I think
absolutely 1,000%. One thing I enjoyed, he's played a little petty game with the movie rights and the creative rights to these things is kind of like how Sony does with Spider-Man. They have to put out something.
And that to keep the license. Yeah, and that's one of the comic books do that too. That's why you have what's called Ash Can Edition, which is pretty much a comic book that nobody gets to see because it never got put on comic book shelves, but they produced a comic book.
Right.
And that satisfies copyright law.
Right. There's these really weird shorts of Warren Beatty appearing as Dick Tracy. Even one of them, I think he's in his 80s, this latest one. And it is bizarre. And but of course, me being me as this mega fan, I watched these.
Exactly. I understand perfectly. I watch stuff like that too, and I watch it in a different vein than I would watch something if I didn't appreciate it.
One thing that I will say, because like you said, Warren Beatty's lost his mind or he's crazy or whatever, and I completely agree with you. But one thing where I admired his insanity in a sense that I wish other Hollywood types would have it, when they were interviewing Dick Tracy, and it's Warren Beatty in the yellow trench coat. He's Dick Tracy right now, right? And they're talking to him, and Dick Tracy is knocking on Warren Beatty, going, "Oh, Beatty, he's just this liberal Hollywood type, like I'm actually very conservative, and my political view." But I loved the fact that Beatty knew that a police officer from the 30s would be this way politically, and whereas Beatty, being the guy from Hollywood, would be that way. And I love that he could separate the two, that he wasn't so into it that he was like, oh, well, Dick Tracy thinks like I think because I'm Dick Tracy.
Right.
That's not how it worked in his brain.
And knowing Warren Beatty, he probably is got multiple personality syndrome going on there.
Wouldn't you have to be a successful actor? You know,
we've always known that actors are weirdos anyway, right? That's nothing new.
You'd have to be able to dive into that. It's much like pro wrestling. Like, I mean, how much of Sergeant Slaughter is really Sergeant Slaughter, and how much of it is, you know, who he is in real life? You know,
we have to ask Zazel. Zazel may be able to tell us the answer.
You know, but there's that dance. You know, how much of Terry Bollea is Hulk Hogan? How much of Hulk Hogan is, you know what I mean? It's
regardless of who's talking, it's always a lie when you're talking Hogan, right?
Right.
J80 Hobbies has joined us.
Oh, Jay.
Good to see you, man. Glad you showed up to hang out here with us tonight. Mike Fee gave me some interesting information. Barbarossa, if you know who that is a customizer. I was waiting for these fireworks. Adam Bomb 0108 has just subscribed to me. Thank you for subscribing. You will help me in my quest for 1,000 subscribers. So thank you so much. Barbarossa was talked to Barbarossa about making some customs, and he got hit by Mattel again. So he has to pay 6% of everything that he does to Mattel. Is that what you're telling me there, Mike? Elaborate. I knew Barbarossa disappeared for a little while, and I did not know why. This kind of explains to me something.
Yeah, I was following him on eBay. I've bought some of his capes and things and different stuff that he has.
This makes sense, and he probably had to work out some kind of deal with them. And it's interesting that they even worked out a deal with him and didn't just sue the shit out of him. So I'll give Mattel that.
Right. Yeah, I think he does like repro faker armor and swords and things. I've bought a few things from him.
Yeah, and mainly what he's doing is stuff that fits on the vintage figures, but they will fit on the Origins figures as well. If you want to make a Hebrew figure like Todd has the recipe for over there at Hebrew's Innovations, the Hebrew channel, to get the yellow armor for He-Man and the yellow power sword and all that, you have to get that from Barbarossa, or at least that's who was making it at the time, at one time. So
you got like a King Randor and you needed the crown. He's got a phony crown instead of paying out the nose to get the flat top's my guy, man. Oh yeah.
Blue Sasquatch's favorite, I guess, is Prune Face.
Oh, we got him too. We got Prune Face too.
Cool.
Funny fact.
I kind of like the way they made the bad guys look like the comic bad guys to me.
Yeah, but what's funny is that the Dick Tracy doesn't look anything like Warren Beatty. They should have went with that. When they had the square jaw, that's made him look like the comic.
Really, that kind of hurt things a little bit, in my opinion.
I think so. Well, and look at this face sculpt. Is this not the most unfortunate? Like,
that is sad.
He's got his mouth open.
Here. Let me share the misery.
I mean, like, that hurts, dude. It looks like with Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah. What's that facial expression on his face all about? And is he wearing lipstick?
Yeah, it's just like this. That's supposed to be your tough hero cop guy.
Yeah, come on.
And that's the main guy, and you're lying. Ouch.
Pop Actor, why didn't he act this way as Bugsy Siegel in interviews?
I liked the Bugsy movie he did. I thought it was very good.
So, yeah, Mike says that all the Motu heads and armor that Barbarossa's doing, Mattel gets 6% of the sales. That's a reasonable percentage, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It's not bad. 6% is hardly anything.
Yeah, I mean it's just enough for them to hold on to those rights and say, look, he's not infringing. We got a license deal going on here, and I give Mattel props for that, because Disney would have put him out of business and probably ruined his life.
Oh, absolutely.
And Hasbro, I wouldn't doubt that they would probably do the same. Old man Beatty still squatting on them film rights, says the unmasked maniac here.
It's a shame, because I'd like to see now that comic movies are kind of the thing nowadays. It'd be neat to see what it could do in new hands. But unfortunately, the way the world is now, I just don't think. I mean, you watch that movie back. I think it got a PG rating back then, and
did it get a? I thought it was a PG-13 because of the fight
maybe.
Scenes and all the blood.
Well, there was enough gunplay in it. I mean, my God,
everybody got killed in it too, if I'm not mistaken.
Right?
Didn't they?
Yeah, they didn't leave a lot of room for a sequel. Almost all the villains were annihilated.
Well, they got annihilated in the comic books too, but at least they had long story arcs with each villain before.
Yeah, each villain could have carried the strip for probably a month or a month and a half before they.
All right. I got a question for the Joneser. And right before I get to that, let me address Mike V here. So it's mostly the sculpting that got him hit. He made Filmation heads for Masterverse and Origins and the armor for them. So that probably makes a lot of sense there. So you're a big Dick Tracy fan. Do you know who Fearless Fosdick is then?
You've asked me this before, and I want to say this was the knockoff they did later.
Are you familiar with a comic strip by Al Cap called Little Abner?
Yes.
Okay. Fearless Fosdick was a comic strip that Little Abner read in the Little Abner comic strip. Okay. So it was a comic strip within a comic strip.
Right.
And Fearless Fosdick was Al Cap's parody of Dick Tracy. Yeah. And what was funny about Fearless Fosdick was he had holes in him like Swiss cheese from all the bullets. I think you should look that up. I think
that's great, because quite honestly, I've been reading the Dick Tracy strips in order. I started from volume 1 and I'm almost through volume 2 now, and I think Tracy's been shot like at least 5 or 6 times in just the first couple of years. Yeah, he's also been tied to a chair and had his feet burned, and
yeah, I mean it was a pretty rough strip. It wasn't like a kiddie strip, folks.
No. And what was funny about it is it's in the funnies, but the strip wasn't funny.
No, it was an action adventure strip, which like the Phantom or Flash Gordon or anything like that. It wasn't meant to be funny. It was meant to be an adventure. Adults read this stuff as well as the kids, folks.
Right.
But the Sunday strips for Dick Tracy, I mean, the story arcs were rather long. Each villain had his day in the sun, and Dick Tracy usually offed them at the end, if I'm not mistaken.
Either for the first couple years, it seems like some of them, like Ribs Mocha and Steve the Tramp and Big Boy, get arrested and put in prison, and then they can return. But then other ones, it either ends in a shootout with the cops, or if it doesn't end with a shootout with the cops, it's usually much worse. Like some kind of karmic justice will happen, where like the guy that sold bootleg tires drowns in the river with tires around his neck, or the guy making poison gas, accidentally a bullet gets the gas canister and he gets gassed with his own stuff, or
they get hoisted by their own petard, right?
Right. And Gould was a very big believer in the police and law and order, and he really wanted these strips to convey the message that crime doesn't pay, and that
if I'm not mistaken, he had PSAs at the end of the Sunday strip sometimes about Crime Stoppers, or how to keep yourself safe in your home and all that kind of stuff.
What's really neat too about the early ones is he was really ahead of his game with the police forensic science, and a lot of people, the first time they ever heard about like a ballistics test or things like that of the police nature.
And in spite of the sci-fi elements like the wrist radio and stuff like that, he tried to keep it within reason when it came to the detective part of it.
Right. Now he studied police procedures of the time, and he kept a foot, or he kept current with whatever they were doing.
And police procedures at the time were pretty stereotypical procedures that we think of now, like sticking somebody in a room and putting lights on them. And
they did that. They did. Well, and here's the thing too, with the thing starts in the 30s, they didn't have Miranda rights or things like that. So like like even get a warrant to go in, they just break in the door, grab the guy by the freaking head, throw him up the stairs, take him to the police station, and smack him till he says he did it.
Yeah,
that's just how it was.
That was police procedure. That's it's changed over the years, but so when you read those old comics and you see that shit in there, he wasn't being funny about it. He was just telling you how it was. Yeah. Gojitron, I'd like it if someone made custom Thundar parts for motorbikes. Hell yeah. I would eat that shit up. And if I'm not mistaken, here a few years, and it's been a few years ago, folks, and if you try to look for this shit on eBay, it's either non-existent or super expensive. Probably non-existent because the people who got it ain't giving it up. They made Thundar, Ukla the Mock, and Princess Ariel figures. I don't know what company did that. Do you remember, Jones?
I didn't even know this happened, but like I'm salivating. Like I'm hoping the little
they made those. I want to say like somebody like Super 7 or somebody made them, and they were like super duper expensive when I at one time when you could find them on eBay.
Right.
I missed out on the initial selling of those. At the time I wasn't even collecting toys, but I saw them when they came out and I was like, won't.
That was one of my favorite cartoons as a kid, and it was funny because a friend of mine used to always be like, "Oh, that's a He-Man ripoff," and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure this was way before He-Man."
Oh yeah. And here's a piece of trivia about Thundar the Barbarian. Who was the designer of Thundar the Barbarian and characters on Thundar the Barbarian? Do you know that?
Well, it was a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I know that much.
It was. But they hired somebody to come in and help them design the character.
It wasn't King Kirby, was it?
It was.
Yeah, it looks like
it was. And if you look at that dude who had the thing would come down, his head would spin around, and the bad head would come up, very dark side looking.
Yeah.
You could tell by the technology had that Kirby touch to it.
Yeah, no, it did. No, looking at it now, it's obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Especially even the story, in the year 1999, nuclear war ravaged the earth, and out of the ashes.
Exactly. I think it was from in 1999 from out of space.
Yeah, of course.
A rogue planet came between the Earth and the moon, shattering the moon into two pieces and causing utter destruction across the world. And it was kind of Planet of the Apes whenever they would go into one of those old cities or something. So,
I love any of this post-apocalyptic stuff.
Oh, and we survived, folks. The year 1999. That was the near future when these cartoons were made in the 70s, 80s. I can't remember. Way before He-Man. 70s. It was 70s. But it was way before He-Man. Even Black Star predated He-Man, so that there's no rip-off going on there. Although I think Filmation used some of those ideas and designs when they did the He-Man cartoon. Dick Tracy, the first movie with Ralph Bird. They don't have the usual villains, right?
No, most of the movie villains from the black and whites were just one-shots for the movies. There might have been a few Like I think they did flat top on one of them, and it was just a guy with a weird hat. And
Are you talking about the old cereal, Dick Tracy cereal?
yeah,
Those.
or they had
Well,
the Ralph
they made him a
Burns
G
one.
man in those. He was a FBI agent in those.
Yeah, they did a lot of switching things around and messing with it. But I mean, some of those were still very watchable or very fun. You know, they get the spirit of the thing right, where it should. It's the classic, you know. Is this the end of Dick Tracy? And they have him in some death trap, and he's not supposed to make it, and then he does. You know, either he's between the ships and he's going to get crushed, or the water's rising in the room, and can he get to the window? Or they always
that's
have
why
that.
the movie serials always ended on a cliffhanger.
Right.
And if you ever watch Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids when they were doing the Brown Hornet, it was like that. You know, oh no, our hero is in this death trap. Tune in next week to see how he survives. So you tune in next week. Using his superheroic powers, he escapes. And now on to the story.
Right. And it's funny because I think back then we weren't quite as cynical as we are now. Or as we watch this stuff now and we're like, oh, come on. They're not going to kill Dick Tracy in the next strip. It's just not going to happen, Which is how we got to wonderful stories like the death of Superman and things like that, where they went, hey, maybe this time.
The thing about that was now I'll give them props. They did exactly what they set out to do, which was to invigorate the comic sales, one, and two, to pull the shit out of the news media's leg. The news media fell for that hook, line, and sinker.
They sure did.
Most of us cynical comic fans were like, they're not really killing Superman. He'll be back. You watch and see.
Right.
It took about a year for them to bring him back. And they did a year's worth of stories without Superman. And they did. Do you know why they did that? Do you know really why they did that?
Well, they wanted you to think it was this. They meant it. In fact, they did this one further. There was a month before they did the 4 fake Supermans where there was nothing.
They did go all in on that. But do you know what caused that, though?
Oh, the Lois and Clark TV show.
Thank you.
They were marrying Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain, and they were going to write the Lois and Clark wedding in the comic, and then they couldn't do it because the TV show trumped them.
Yeah. The TV show said, no. You're going to have to hold off on that because we're doing that next year.
Yeah, so they got to do it first.
So they get in the room. They get in the room. And try, okay. We got to kill the storyline. We got to put something in its place. And it was either Marv Wolfman. It was either Marv Wolfman.
I think it was Dan Jurgens.
Or Dan. It was Dan Jurgens. You're right. It was Dan Jurgens. Yeah. That was his joke.
Right.
Whenever they get in the writer's room and they would be stuck on something like that, he would be back there and be like, let's just kill him off.
Right.
And this time when he said it, Mike Carlin, I think it was, goes, okay, let's do it, folks. That's what we're doing.
Well, they did. That was the compromise where they said, okay, look, we know you have this whole year worth of stories of them getting married written, and now you can't do it. You can do something equally as big. But they didn't, say kill him.
I don't. It did what it was supposed to do for that time, but I think ultimately it was detrimental to everything because then they had to do it with Batman, and then they had to do it with this character, and then they had to do it with somebody else. And
dude, I hate
the fucking deep end on there.
Yeah, the '90s got tiresome to me, and when it's like we got to the point where it was like the Punisher joined the mob. Wolverine's skeleton was ripped out and now he's got bone claws. Spider-Man's a clone. Batman's a fraud. Daredevil can see. Captain America is no longer wearing the stripes. Like it just,
it's sad for me to say this, but I was a avid comic book collector up until that, and I even collected it back up until Superman came back, and for a short period after that. But that shit, Batman getting his back broke, Azrael taking over for Batman, the Superman crap, the crap you just talked, that was what drove me out of comic collecting.
I can even tell you the exact moment I was really upset with the Spider-Man clone thing. I remember I even wrote a letter to Marvel. I was so mad.
Did it get in the comment?
No, I didn't even send it. I was so mad I didn't even send it. But what was funny though is the next month I had read the next book, and there was a letter in there that was basically a mirror image of mine. Like it had all the same gripes and all, and the response to it was what made me put it down. And the response was, if you don't like the direction that the new comics are going, then just read the old ones. And I was like, will do.
What if you don't like it, don't watch it? And when they say that, everybody quits watching it suddenly.
Yeah. Well, what are you doing?
Don't say stuff like that.
Right.
If you're not willing to take the consequences for it.
Yeah. And it wasn't Marvel that had said that. I want to say it was the following fan letter. So it was another fan that wrote that. You know, because Marvel wasn't stupid enough to say, "Hey, don't buy our stuff."
Well,
you know?
that's what comes out of like Disney Plus and Paramount and stuff like that. If you don't like what we're doing with these products,
whatever they're
don't
doing,
watch it. And then I go and unsubscribe to Disney Plus. I got rid of Disney Plus just the other day. I'm sick of that shit.
See, I got it because it's free for me because it's a part of my phone bill.
I can get it for free too,
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I got it like I get that and Hulu and ESPN Plus as part of my cell phone package.
Yeah.
So
if there's anything on there that I truly want to watch, I'll be able to watch it one way or another. But I'm not paying Disney to watch it. I can go to somebody else's house that's got Disney Plus and watch it at their house or whatever. YouTube. I'm not telling anybody that I'm doing anything illegal over here. I'm just saying. Toonami made Thundar back in 2006. It probably goes for about $500 to $600 on eBay right now. I knew it was super expensive, and that's not par for the course for something like that. Wouldn't you think, there, Jones?
Yeah, they should redo one.
I think they should. And if Lee, if you're listening, man, if you can fix us up with some kits to make Thundar, man, I'd go for that. Ruby Spears did Thundar the Barbarian, not Hanna-Barbera, and he's correct on that. I should have caught you on that, and I didn't. Alex Tote did the designs for Thundar and Ukla and Ariel, but Kirby did everything else.
It looks like his stuff. You know, I just took a shot in the dark there.
The writer that developed Thundar was Steve Gerber, the creator of Dun Dun Dun, Howard
the Duck. That was the first time I saw duck boobies.
Comic was good. The movie was plumb awful.
What are you talking about? That movie was great.
Sure, it was great.
It was in the so bad it's good pile. That's what I think.
Okay. I'll give you that. Joneser and Bill. You guys want to do a Dick Tracy spotlight about 2 weeks from now? I can start building a show this week and get some time on mine. Yes. And Joneser, you and Johnny, I want you guys to get together on this and put it together, and I will show it right here on this show. And if you co-host that with the Maniac there, you have full rights to re-show it on your show as well.
Oh, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. I've been down that rabbit hole so hard lately. I've been reading it, and I'm trying to read it in order, but I've cherry picked and skipped ahead to see some of the characters I wanted to see. I didn't want to wait. It's probably going to take me years, dude. I'm in the 30s right now, and it's like, you know what I mean?
Just wait. Just wait. The 60s are coming, my friend.
I'm dropping out by then.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. No. You're in this for the long haul, Jack. I want you to read all the Moon Maiden Space Coop stories. And
I don't know. To me, that's where he's kind of lost his mind. That's where you get
it lost its way, but those storylines do have a bearing on when it came back into play.
Sure. No, and who knows? When I get there, maybe I won't be able to stop. But I did say
those stories have their fans too. I
they
agree.
They did, and they do. And I just, to me, I think the further away you get from the Depression era gangster, the more you lose it.
Gojatron. Johnny, if you do that spotlight, you cannot forget that Dick Tracy had a crossover with Mr. Magoo.
Oh, Jesus, did he really?
If Gojatron said it, I'd take it to the bank.
Oh, no, I'm not doubting him for a second.
Absolutely. So
he was
there
on.
there you go, folks. Here's something to look forward to in a few weeks. Is a spotlight on Dick Tracy featuring Motu Joneser and Unmasked Maniac. I will be there as a peanut gallery, kind of like you do sometimes when me and Johnny go at it with Batman, and you guys take the front seat. And like I said, here's what I want to happen, Joneser. I will put the check mark on it when we do that show so that you can dual live stream. You can live stream this on your channel while you're over here.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We'll have to play with that though. We may have to experiment. So if you guys see us going live and you don't know why, you can tune in to watch us fuck around. We've done that before, Jones, or in the middle of the night.
Yeah, tried some weird stuff.
Mr. Magoo's Dick Tracy and the Mob.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
You're gonna send me down that damn rabbit hole too. Damn it, Gojatron. And you too there, Rick. You're egging it all on. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that now. Oh, how long have we been on? An hour and 20 minutes. I don't have any shorts tonight. I was just going to talk customs. And the fun things you can do. Lee Customs is a place you can get customs. Cape Master is a place that you can get things to enhance your figures and make customs with. So the Dick Tracy figures with their coaches are the only customs that you've been doing. I take it there, Jones.
I got the Cape Master helped me with my Scare Glow because a Scare Glow original cape is like $180.
Right.
You know, and I think Barbarossa did the staff. Let me grab it quick. Oh.
Sure. And Barbarossa is available over there on the Evil Bay as well.
There he is.
Yeah.
That's the original's only the figure. The cape is Cape Master and the staff is Barbarossa.
Okay.
But, I didn't feel like paying another $200 or $300 to have, you know, I think I was already 90 on the figure, you know, without all the crap. I didn't think I'd ever have one. That was one of those vintage Motu figures. It's kind of pricey.
Yeah.
To get him with
the damn Origins figure costs almost as much as the vintage figure.
It's not up to $360, is it?
Them sons of bitches over there on the Evil Bay, yeah, I wouldn't doubt it a bit because that figures were hard to get even when it came out.
Yeah, I know. I seen them on the shelf. I should have bought 4 of them. You know what I mean? I just got the one.
Well, Susudia is bringing up a point. I think Wilhelm Toy and Hobby even showed pictures of what Ollie's looks like.
Yeah, they got a lot of the commons there, though. They got Battle Cats, and Panthors, and Wind Raiders, and
but they're only like $10 a piece.
Right, I know. If we only knew, we could have held out, and instead you had to be first.
No. We're not capable of that.
No, I'm not.
The FOMO was too great. Yeah, and of course, our wives are standing there with their arms folded, looking at us sideways all the time. But yeah, I get it.
But yeah, Scareglow was one of those vintage figures. I never thought I'd have one.
Okay, Mr. Magoo, Dick Tracy and the Mob is available on YouTube, and it is from a 1961 Dick Tracy cartoon. If you remember those, I think you've watched a few of those.
Yeah, my problem with those is, are those the ones where Dick Tracy's like there, but instead it's like Joe Jitsu and Herbert Holmes, and you know.
Yes, I think you're correct. I mistakenly bought some cartoon shows on DVD, and it said Dick Tracy. It had a picture of Dick Tracy on the cover. I watched them and was thoroughly unimpressed.
Yeah. I will say this though, Jiu-Jitsu is unstoppable in a fight.
Oh, yeah.
Very sorry. Oh, pardon me. Excuse me.
Yeah, he's got like the this Aikido or Kung Fu or some shit.
Yeah, he's unstoppable
of some sort, and he just fucks people up. And he
I have to admit that's probably the most entertaining part of the whole.
And of course, he's a Charlie Chan ripoff, if there ever was one. But yeah, I mean, that is what it is, and they're entertaining for that, but they're not Dick Tracy.
No, I mean,
the closest thing to Dick Tracy that you're going to get in a comic is Archie, U.S. of Archie comic strip.
Yep. Those are okay, and you'll actually get to see the great John Irwin, the voice of He-Man, do the voice of Dick Tracy in that. Absolutely.
Now, I think the Space Coupe does show up in those, does it not?
They do. They're in magnetic cars, and they got Moon Girl, and that's what it is. I was watching them. Me and Lyric were watching them, and what was funny is like his Lyric's Dick Tracy stuff. He's seen the movie, right? So to him, that's what it is, and he's messed around with the action figures with me. So when we put the cartoons on, he was like, so we saw Jiu-Jitsu, and he laughed, and then when we saw the magnetic cars and the weird, he's like, really?
Is he old enough for you to explain that things tend to change in comics, and that actually they did do that in the 60s?
He's a Star Wars fan, so yes. He knows that there's a good, bad, and ugly Star Wars. He's seen it.
And also an episode of Mr. Magoo Meets Dr. Frankenstein. Okay. The ad shows 6 different figures. I guess that's some Ollie's ad. And we have someone here named Angelo Ribeiro, and saying hello. Hello there.
I think these messages are getting removed.
Oh, I see that. Angelo Ribeiro is some sort of a bot of some or
spammy bot thing.
A troll of some sort. So yeah, if there's a wrench in the house, just put a choker.
I believe Goji got you covered here.
Thank you, Gojitron. If it weren't you, it'd be Bjorn, but Bjorn had to take
I'm here too with my wrenchy powers, and so's Sue Studio.
Good deal. Got to have them wrenches in the house to take care of stuff like this. You know what I haven't seen in a long time? I haven't seen the porn bots show up in the chats. Usually, you see that porn. Yeah, there you go, Sue Studio, or me. That's right.
Yeah, she's here.
Yeah, Sue Studio not only is a member, but she is also a wrench. And she will take that wrench and beat the shit out of you if you fuck around in my chat. Yeah, the porn bots don't show up anymore like they used to. As YouTube's come around and decided to get them all off of here.
I don't know. I'm waiting for them to do like Twitter does and just let them in with open arms.
Wait, Twitter? Is there such a thing as Twitter? Thank you, X. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah. I forgot.
I have abandoned that platform altogether. Which reminds me, I was going to ask chat and you this. So apparently, Instagram is telling me that I'm not getting the full Instagram experience because I have not signed up for something called Threads. And I'm not signing up for Threads just yet. I'm holding off on that. Why should I sign up for Threads, Jones? Have you?
I don't know what Threads is. I will say Instagram was a little weird with me today. It deleted itself off my desktop.
Really?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Apparently, Threads is Meta's answer to X, Twitter. So, but it's part of Instagram. And from what I understand, if you hit the little button to get the Threads, there's no going back. You can't go back to what you got, which is just the Instagram. Once you add the Threads to it, it's a done deal. I'll beat them with my wrench and cane. the Pencil Neck Geeks. She's channeling somebody there.
Oh, I know who it is.
Is that Gorgeous George?
No. You're on the right trail, though.
Come on now, help me out here. I know who this is. Oh, you're gonna make me think, aren't you?
Think.
I know his name. Wow, he's one of the first ones that started that damn gimmick.
Yep.
My mind is a complete, utter mush of crap right now.
Right. Classic wrestler. Later manager.
Yes, he was, and he God damn it. This is called digital dementia, folks.
He was pretty classy.
Classy Freddie Blassie.
There we go.
Thank you. This is what's called digital dementia, folks. We can't remember things anymore. And the reason we can't remember anything anymore is because we have a device in our pocket that does it for us.
Well, and I've always thought of, you remember the
Classy
episode of
Freddie
Married with
Blassie.
Children? You remember the episode of Married with Children where Bud was teaching Kelly how to pass school, and she was actually pretty smart. And they were like, well, this is how the brain works. Most people's brain is like a glass of water. You know, you pour a little water in, and you can only pour in so much, you're going to spill a little. He's like, well, you think of Kelly's brain, it's like a shot glass. So pour a little in. Yeah. She can remember that, but
pour too much in, it doesn't take.
Right.
I got it.
The doorbell rings. What was that? Lost that one.
Yeah. Married with Children was classic. You couldn't put something like that on TV today.
Oh, no. I want to say Al Bundy's first line walking in the screen. He comes in, woman, I'm home from work. Where's my dinner?
Justice Curry, if you follow him on Instagram, he had a good one today. He said, I was told that to have a good marriage, always bring your wife breakfast in bed. And it showed him he had a carton of eggs, some Smithfield bacon package over here, and some sausage patties in a pack over here. And he said, so I brought breakfast to my wife this morning to let her know that it was time to get up and make breakfast. You see her sleeping over there, and I'm like, okay, how did this work out? Because I know how it would work out over here. I would be wearing all that breakfast as I slunk back to the kitchen, and probably wouldn't be sleeping in that bed with her for a couple of days.
It's like Sue Studio's got some action going again, only this time it was the afternoon, not the evening.
Something's going on over there all the time. I've got to get her over there. Sue Studio, if you want to get on the show, let me know, because we're getting to the point where we can't stand this anymore. You've got to tell us these stories. Married with Children, I can relate to Al more now than I did as a teen. Yeah, the was it in the beginning? He comes in with his money in his hand, bitty nasty little money paycheck that he's done made, and he sits down with it, and then everybody starts taking their cut of it until he's left with $1. And then the dog comes and takes that. Yeah.
My favorite was the one where he's doing his taxes. He's just sitting at the kitchen table crying.
Yeah.
Like, what's the matter, Al? And he's like, they're taking my whole refund. And like, the whole thing. Yes, $2.97.
It's relatable. It really is. And that's what's funny about that is that it was funny when you first watch it. It's funnier when you rewatch it as an adult.
I'll tell you the one that gets me every time, and I know you'll know this one, the one where he had the overdue library book.
I can't believe they ever went to the library in the first place, that freaking family.
I love that he had the overdue library book, and he's like, he had it since he was a kid, and he never returned it because he hated the librarian. He was afraid of her or didn't like her or whatever. And then he's like, I'm going to return it, you know. And he's like, well, she'd be there. And he's like, oh, she's got to be like 97. There's no way she'll be there. She's there, looks exactly the same.
Yeah, I can believe that. One of my favorite episodes was the one where they decided to start eating healthy instead of eating all that junk food, and they got sick because their bodies had adapted to the junk food, and now the healthy food made them sick, and they had to go back to eating the junk again.
It didn't Peggy like turn the fitness guy and get him smoking and eating bonbons?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
Katie Seagal, who went on to play in The Sons of Anarchy.
Yep.
Did you watch that, Drake, The Sons of Anarchy?
I did not. I know it was really big, and I know people were really into it, and I know it's been highly acclaimed, but it was just one of those ones I just never went down the rabbit hole. I didn't watch that. I didn't watch Lost. I watched a few episodes of Dexter and said not for me. I mean, it's just...
You know, I moved through, or at one time really moved through the motorcycle club world. And when The Sons of Anarchy came out, all the people who weren't in the scene decided that they wanted to get into the scene because they wanted to be just like the Sons of Anarchy. And they were thorns in our side for a long time. The Sons was okay, but it got stale. How many seasons did that thing last? About 5?
I have no idea.
I watched some of that, and it bothered me a little bit because even the preeminent clubs, the 1%ers of this world, don't do all of that. They have jobs.
I got some friends that are in the lifestyle, and he watched it too, and it was like, yeah, that's Hollywood's version of what happens.
It is. I mean, if they made a real show about somebody in a motorcycle club, it would be rather boring. The man gets up in the morning and goes to work all day long, and then gets on his motorcycle and he comes home. He pays his bills. He takes care of his family. He eats supper and goes to bed. Only to get up and do it all over again. It sounds rather familiar. All the cast except for the son did all the great shows later on or movies. Okay. Susudio liked the Sopranos, and Gojatron said he watched Lost, a waste of my damn time. Lost was a waste of time. I watched like the first 2 seasons of that, and I didn't watch the rest of it. It didn't make any sense at all to me.
I really want to watch Sopranos. My mother liked it.
The Sopranos was good. My mother liked Sopranos. She liked The Sopranos. She watched The Sopranos, and I watched them. But we didn't watch them on HBO. We watched the sanitized version of it that was on A&E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they reshowed it on A&E, and they sanitized it. All the scenes in the strip club were taken completely out. But the storyline was, you could still follow it, and that's the one that I watched, and I liked it. I didn't like the way it ended, but yeah, it was pretty good. I won't spoil it for you. You haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
After The Sopranos, The Sons of Anarchy was the hit show for me. Yes, I know how it's pronounced, people. The Dome was a waste of time. What the hell is The Dome?
I don't remember that one. You know what I liked? I watched Dr. House.
Yeah, my wife liked Dr. House. What was that? What was the name of that show?
House.
Just
I always call it Dr.
He had a cane.
House.
He had a little crotch rocket that he rode on, and he had to walk with the cane, and he didn't walk with it right. He walked with it against his side along his leg.
His leg was messed up, and he's in pain, and that's why he's an asshole. But that's what I loved about the show, was that he was, that next level genius. And, even though, like, I want to say every episode was the same thing, he's angry and mistreats everybody, and he's wrong 17 times until he's right.
Who was the lady on that? She was his boss, but also kind of like his girlfriend, sort of.
Oh, yeah, the Cuddy. was the name.
That's her
of the
Cuddy. Okay,
character.
all right.
I
And
don't
then,
remember the
and then,
actor.
and then there was the one guy that was like his Dr.
friend.
Watt. That was
Wilson was his
Wilson.
friend.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember one time Hal said something about his friends and or something like that, and Cuddy goes, "I thought I had met all of your friend."
Right. No, and that's about it. That's true. You know, that show, I think it hurt it, the final season of that, because the actress that played Lisa Cuddy, there was some kind of a contract dispute or a pay dispute, and they couldn't work it out. And so she moved on, and they had to write her out of the final season. And
that didn't bode well.
No, but I mean, they were ending the show anyway. But it's like the show's called House. The show's not called Lisa Cuddy. So
no,
like,
but here's the thing:
they can go on without.
That would be like having the Remington Steele show and taking the girl character off of it.
Right. You know, and their final season anyway. You know. So
you know what? And that's what any of those shows that are like that, where you have the main character, and you have this elusive girlfriend of his that maybe is his girlfriend, maybe isn't, and they never really do anything, but they get close.
They did at one point. They did.
But as soon as you put them together, the show ends. It's just this is over. No matter what you try to do with it from then on out, it's gone. And I'm gonna be honest with you. There are those of you who like the Lois Lane being married to Clark Kent and them having babies and all that bull crap. That also killed it for me, man.
Right. Hey, you ever watch the X-Files?
Yes, same thing.
I was a huge fan of the X-Files. And when they did the movie, I remember I was in high school and I went to the theater and watched the X-Files movie with my girlfriend. And they had the scene where Mulder and Scully, they're just about to kiss, and then something happens and you don't get it. And I remember she was all bent out of shape about it. And I'm like, they couldn't have done that in a room.
No, that kills it. As soon as you consummate their damn relationship, right. I mean, the show's over. Right. That's what people are watching it for. Once they get, it's kind of like the blow off in wrestling. Once you watch that, that's the blow off, man. The storyline's over.
There's
love
nothing left to pine for.
Them guys was cool. Bugsy was the man with the casino. Yeah, Bugsy Siegel was the one that made Vegas.
Yeah, until he couldn't make the debt work.
I should have watched Oz. I don't know how much I don't know how I missed on that. I missed out on Oz too. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a big thing. I'm sorry, folks, but I can't watch crime drama television. I just cannot. I root for the wrong people in it. I get upset when the good guys do the things that they do that are underhanded in it. I mean,
I'm a true crime guy. I'll sit there and watch these serial killer documentaries or these freaking cold case files and justice files. And
I watched that for real last week or week before last. I watched that for real. I spent a whole week. I spent a whole week watching that shit, and I pretty much got my belly full. I was really disgusted by the fact that nobody told the truth. Not the prosecution and not the defense. Now, the defense, I can almost give them, that's his job, is to get his client the best deal he possibly can or get him acquitted or whatever. He's going to say whatever. He's going to Perry Mason whatever he can to get his client. But the prosecution, they're not supposed to be covering up evidence.
No. No, and that's a miscarriage of justice, and that's where you get into like that Stephen Avery to Making a Murderer or whatever on Netflix. I don't know if you watch that, but I mean that's where if you get the prosecution and the police and they're doing underhanded things, like if the guy's really guilty, you don't need to have to do any underhanded weird things to make the case. The case makes itself because the guy did it.
Well, even if the guy did it and he deserves to go to jail, doesn't everyone who helped him need to go right along with him to jail? That ain't what happens, folks. Maybe somebody who actually was the trigger man, even though the one you're trying to convict is the mastermind, maybe the trigger man don't go to prison because he's willing to get up on the stand and rat his buddy out.
Watched all of those and then some. I recommend Night Stalker. There's the Face of Evil. Ted Bundy, or do you say that in there?
Son of Sam. I remember
Son of Sam was fun. Yeah, I watched all that and then some. Every one of those I can find. I am a true crime connoisseur. I love unsolved mysteries, any of that kind of stuff.
Now, I have to admit, now, back when Unsolved Mysteries used to come on TV, I watched the hell out of some Unsolved Mysteries. We even did an episode of Unsolved Mysteries here on this show one time.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know what happened to those kids. And no matter what anybody tells me, it's nothing that proves it to me. There's nothing that, until, if you guys are watching this over there from Collector's Crush, one of you two need to come on here, preferably the girl, and tell me what went on, and then I'll have the mystery solved. Up until then, it's still up in the air. You agree?
I do. You know what? I wasn't subscribed to them. I didn't know about them. Yeah, I didn't. Wasn't even aware of them until I saw your show, Bill.
I watched the hell out of them. And matter of fact, when I found them, I started watching all their old episodes back, and watching them up too. And the toy hunts, oh yeah. Then they would come in and sit in their house and they'd show off what they bought. It was all during the coof, though. I mean, that a lot of that stuff happened back then. Son of Sam documentary, I learned more from previous documentaries. A lot more. Okay. I remember the Son of Sam and Jeffrey Dahmer, the cannibal.
That they did a TV show or series or whatever on Dahmer, and I watched that with my older sons, and it was neat. Being I'm as familiar as I am with the case, they took some liberties for dramatic effect for the TV show, but for the most part, a lot of the important pieces are there correct-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, that's the thing. That's the thing about anything like that. That they've got first, they got to fill in gaps that there is no story for. They've got to put something in there to piece it together, and then they've got to make it entertaining,
right?
Because a lot of that stuff is not entertaining. John Wayne Gacy, in my opinion, is not a very funny clown.
No. Well, the main thing with the Dahmer one was they made The Neighbor, which I believe oh God, I can't remember the actress that played her. But anyway, his neighbor plays a big part in it, and they play her as his next door neighbor, when in reality this lady lived like down the street from him. She was not his next door neighbor. But I think she's kind of a character where they blended a bunch of people into one just so they could have it. You know what I mean? Because there was his neighbor, there was the lady down the street, there were a few people that were kind of onto him, And what's amazing about this neighbor, or the lady down the street rather, is that she called the police multiple times.
Well, did they have the one where the boy came out of the house with his butt bleeding?
And that's her. Yep.
And the police take him back to Dahmer's house.
And then that kid's like 15 or 14 or whatever he is.
This is a domestic case. Let's take you back home. Yeah. And they give him back to Dahmer, and Dahmer's like meets him at the door with a bib around his neck and a knife and fork in his hand, basically.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's unfortunate because that happened, and that lady was right there, and she even calls the police after the fact and tries to follow up and what's going on here, and the police basically tell her, oh yeah, it was just the domestic dispute, and they're lovers quarrel. And
John Wayne Gacy was still claiming he was framed all the way up to the end of his death.
Well,
all of his bodies that was stacked underneath his house. They were
Yeah,
put
what
there
else did he
to
do?
me.
You know, they wouldn't have caught him if he wouldn't have ran out of room. He just started burying him somewhere else. And they finally caught onto him.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and it's Bundy. I think by the end he finally owned it. But when they do there's the Bundy tapes, I think is on Netflix, and that was very interesting. And what's really great about it is this person interviews Ted Bundy, and what they do is they're trying to get him to talk about the crimes, but the problem is he's appealing it, so he can't, right? So what they do, the interviewer has this like where they're pretending like, hey, we need your insight on how to catch the real killer. So what was
that
the
sounds like the
real
plot
killer?
of my favorite movie, Silence of the Lambs.
So he kind of like, you know, talks in a third person. Well, the person that would be responsible for these would be a highly intelligent individual who is capable of murdering over 100 in body count. And you know what I mean? So he can finally divulge what he wants to divulge without incriminating himself.
Kind of like OJ when he wrote that book, If I Did It.
That wasn't very it wasn't smooth at all.
Yeah, if I did it, this is how I would have done it. But I didn't do it.
I don't know. Could you imagine though? You know, the cops come over to Bundy's house. They're pulling like freaking 25 children out of his freaking crawl space. How'd that get there? Yeah. Well, that's someone really worked really hard to make me look bad in this.
Richard Spector. Well, that's a piece of work. Have they done anything about Richard Spector?
Oh, they should.
Oh my God, what a piece of trash.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Have you seen him? You see he had fake breasts and everything. He became a punk when he was in prison. Oh God. Yeah, the truth is stranger than fiction, folks. Yes.
No, those are the kind of things I watch on TV. Yeah. Then I can't figure out why I can't fall asleep at night.
Mysteries will abound, will they not?
Right, yeah. I just can't seem to relax and close my eyes and drift off to dreamland.
Ted Bundy was buying bonds for time before his execution.
That's exactly it. He was trying to delay the inevitable, you know, and they all start to cooperate, you know, and I can lead you to more. And there, you know, don't you want to get closure for the families? We could drag this out for years, and they probably could. You know, there's a lot of them that could.
And then there's Charlie Manson.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't so much of the murderer as he was the manipulator.
You know what I like?
He got Charles Tex Watts to do all the shit for him.
Yeah, he was like the man behind the curtain. But
right,
did you ever see that? I think it was Geraldo Rivera or somebody like that interviewed Manson, and Manson just acted like a complete utter nutball the whole time through the interview. I can have you killed.
Right. Well, he knew what he was doing. He was playing it up for the thing. But what's funny to me is Tex never got the fame that Charlie got. And Tex was the guy with the knife in his hand. Tex was the guy taking the girls to the scenes. He was the guy doing the stuff. And I mean, most people couldn't even tell you his name.
Yeah.
I'm not even 100% sure if it's Watts or Watson or what it was. You know what I mean? Because he didn't get the notoriety.
Now there's a motorcycle idiot doing wheelies up the street.
Jesus.
You've got to start that YouTube channel that you keep telling us that you're going to start. And I can tell you what your content is. What's happening outside your door daily. We'll watch it. I'm telling you. You put it up there, put your spin on it, put some pictures with it, and you narrate it. You don't even have to show your face. And we will watch it. I guarantee you. tell you where this one or that one is buried, but don't execute me. Manson is guilty for doing the LaBianca house and tied them up before they were killed. Yes.
Was he there for that?
I think so. I know he killed that girl that was the Playboy bunny or whatever she was.
No, he wasn't there for the Sharon Tate. He wasn't there for Sharon Tate. But there's a feller whose ear he cut off. He cut a guy's ear off that owed him money. Okay. I don't know that he's not, like I said, he doesn't have the body count. There's girls in his game killed more people than he did.
Oh yeah, well, you know, they worshipped him. It was like a cult, the Manson family. We need a palate cleanser. I've got lots of stuff here, Jones. Or give me an idea. Palate cleanser. Let's look in the playlist here. Commercials.
Well, we've only got about 8 minutes left to kill anyway here.
Oh, is it that time? Wow, time goes by quickly nowadays, doesn't it?
It does.
Yes, Manson went into the house and tied them up.
It's been a while since I read Helter Skelter, which I believe was a lawyer wrote the book.
Yeah. Did they make a movie about that?
They did. The movies are always crap, though. Most of the movies are not real. They're just they're altered for dramatic effect and to, you know.
Instead of feeding the ducks tonight, you want to go over the Yonder Hill and Dale?
What in the heck is that?
I'll play it while we talk. Nice little medieval sounding tune. Can you hear that?
I do.
Got turned on to this tune because Greyhawk Grognard plays this at the end of his show when he does it. And who is Greyhawk Grognard? He is one of the biggest Dungeons and Dragons fans in the world. Greyhawk go on.
I feel like I need to find my cup of mead and
if you guys can find me some decent music like this, just tell me where it is, and if it's royalty free, I'll be happy to play it. Here's the part I like. Not a chance, Rick. Playing that shit. I'm trying to get that shit out of our. Absolutely not. I've got to sleep tonight, and so you. All right, folks. This is it for tonight. Good journey. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I've got a big bad toy store box over here, and I'm going to open it up, and we're going to see what's in it. We'll see y'all next time.
Special thanks to the channel supporters. Without your help, these adventures would not be possible. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's adventure, please hit like, subscribe, and share the video.